He walked into the bar wearing a cape, fangs gleaming, only to faint at the sight of ketchup. Our unlikely hero, Vlad, had all the traits you'd expect from a vampire. The dark, slicked-back hair, the pale skin that never quite reflected light, and a wardrobe exclusively made up of long, sweeping black capes. There was just one small problem. Vlad couldn't stand the sight of blood. Ironic, right? The mere sight of anything remotely red made his head spin, his stomach churn, and his legs buckle. As for blood itself, well, that was enough to make him keel over in a dead faint. It all started one evening in a cozy, dimly lit bar. Vlad was on a mission to blend in with the humans. He sauntered in, cool as a shadow, cape swirling behind him, fangs flashing, just enough to give himself that dangerous edge. But as he approached the bar, he noticed a glistening red bottle on the counter. He squinted. Was that ketchup? Before he knew it, he was flat on the floor. And as the concerned patrons rushed over to help him up, they didn't seem to question his fangs or cape. Instead, they patted him on the back, asking if he needed a drink or maybe a cold compress. You see, Vlad was doing his best to fit into the human world. His blood aversion meant he had to survive on an alternative diet of rare steaks, tomato juice, and occasionally red velvet cake. He tried everything he could to desensitize himself. He even signed up for cooking classes, hoping he could get used to the sight of red sauces. But every time the instructor pulled out a jar of marinara, Vlad found himself pale as ever, his knees wobbling. Despite his strange quirks, Vlad became quite popular around town. People loved the dashing, mysterious man who fainted at the sight of ketchup. Children would stop him on the street, daring him to look at their crimson-colored popsicles. Vlad took it all in stride, laughing along, and over time the humans warmed up to him. They found his peculiar nature endearing, and in a way, Vlad did too. It wasn't long before he met Emma, a chef at the local diner, who found Vlad's condition utterly fascinating. She took it upon herself to find recipes that might help Vlad get over his fears, starting with every kind of food in a shade of red. She'd bring him bowls of beet soup, jello, and strawberry ice cream, cheering him on as he managed a spoonful here and there. And after many awkward dinners and fainting spells, something miraculous happened. One day, Emma placed a glass of tomato juice in front of him, and Vlad didn't flinch. In fact, he managed to sip it, one careful, hesitant gulp. And in that moment, he realized he could make a place for himself in the human world after all. Now Vlad can even tolerate a drizzle of ketchup on his plate. He still wears his cape, fangs gleaming and all, but with a new sense of pride. He may never be a typical vampire, but he's found his own way to be extraordinary. And with Emma by his side, Vlad finally felt at home.